Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network. As today we're going to lick our wounds after getting beat up in week 2 and look ahead to week 3 to find more winners. Tyler, we're coming off a 1-4 week compounded with last night's debacle in Philadelphia. Felt like we were going to get the close cover there right at the end when Philadelphia went up 21-15, but they couldn't hold on. And all my Kirk Cousins slander came back to bite me in the butt as he really stuck it to me by driving the team down the field. With a great drive. You got to give him credit. I mean, soft coverage from the Eagles there, however. But it feels like, I talked about the Raiders season being turned around with that win. I felt the same way about Atlanta because otherwise they would have been 0-2 hosting Kansas City. Now they're 1-1 and they have to be feeling good about themselves and the decision they made to bring Cousins in the offseason. So, Tyler, how are you? And talk to me about what we saw last night, as I can't believe another underdog wins straight up, and we didn't get the cover. At 5.5, I thought we were money. We didn't get there. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, that drop by Saquon Barkley is very costly.
I mean, what?
I won't eat my words on the entire Kirk Cousins take, but I will eat my words on the fact that we thought he was a statue because they ran him through play action a lot more than they did in week 1. They didn't line up in shotgun every play, and he actually ran for some yards. So wasn't a lot of yards, but he scrambled around. He showed some mobility. I mean, the Eagles just kind of gifted him that game in the end. I mean, that defense was terrible at the end. They were just in prevent, and then once they got all the way down there, they stayed in almost a prevent defense. So, I mean, terrible loss by them. That stat I sent you, what was it? Jalen Hurts is 2-7 in his last 9 games
Against the spread.
Yeah. Well, that's straight up.
Really? I guess they did finish the season fairly poorly. Okay. So obviously we upgrade Atlanta because Cousins is looking more mobile, and that was our main concern with him. Like we mentioned, he can always sit in there and sling the pocket, but we were
that more
worried
of an Atlanta win or a Philadelphia loss?
Oh, it's a Philadelphia loss, but regardless, we have to upgrade him because he looks so much better physically, right?
Yeah, I'll give him.
What do we do with Philadelphia? How much should we downgrade him, or was that just a fluke?
Downgrade him slight bit, but not a lot. I mean, they're missing.
They're still a good football team, but you know what? The key to that team has always been defensive line, and this defensive line is not what it was.
No, they got a little
spent
bit
a lot of draft picks.
Damn near as much as I thought.
And I've heard a bunch of Raiders fans lamenting the fact that we took Tyree Wilson over Jalen Carter, but Carter didn't have a good game last night. Let's give credit to the Falcons' offensive line, of course, but we have to wonder if that Philadelphia defensive line isn't stout, are they going to be able to be good? CJ missed some big tackles there in the secondary. Seems like that secondary has a lot of holes that the opposing teams will be able to exploit. I thought Hurts looked pretty good. I'm not going to pin that last interception on him, but they definitely missed A.J. Brown. With the way the rules have changed, these wide receivers are so much more important. And, boy, we got a lot of wide receivers that are out looking at this injury report this week. So any more thoughts about the Monday Night Football? And did I do a adequate job of giving Kirk Cousins my apologies and eating the crow after basically just telling everyone that he sucked yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did a good enough little give back to him. So we can jump into week 3.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have our opportunity to slander him as these things come up. So let's jump into Thursday Night Football. We talked before the show. Sorry, we went a little late. I was having problems putting the projections in. Not feeling 100%, so I got a later start today. Losing that game last night probably didn't help my sinuses here. But we disagree on this game, so let the debate begin. The New York Jets are -6.5 in New England, taking on the Patriots. Total is a pretty low 39. but that seems accurate with the tenor of where the NFL is heading right now. Talk to me about why you like the Jets, and then I'm going to come back and talk about my love for the Patriots.
Yeah, I just think, of course, the Jets are the better team. I talked about didn't want to bet against the Patriots when they're getting these numbers yesterday. It's just because they look like they're going to be a lot better than people thought. But, I mean, they played into overtime on Sunday, which is tough to begin with. Now you're on a short week. And they have some banged up pieces in the secondary looking at this injury report. Like Jones is banged up. Jabril Peppers is hurt. They have a guard that is also questionable and multiple linebackers that are on this injury report that likely don't play. So they could be missing a lot of pieces in this game. And you look on the other side, yeah, the Jets could be missing DJ Reed, one of the key corners they have. But England doesn't have any receivers to throw the ball to. So I think this Jets defense can play well, even missing a couple pieces. I like them to win this game by at least a touchdown. I think they win the game outright. If you don't want to lay the 6.5 and you want to say parlay them with the Browns, I don't hate doing that, but I think they win this game by a touchdown.
I like your second option better. I think the Patriots are going to be able to keep this close. We were wondering how much the loss of Belichick would affect this defense, but they did have two key players come back from injury, namely Christian Gonzalez is the corner, right? Who's top 10 corner, arguably top 5, playing really well right now. And I think that will be a big help there against the Jets, who we know kind of are lacking depth there at that skill position. So if they can give Garrett Wilson troubles, that's going to be big for the Patriots as well. Patriots have been excellent against the run, and the Jets' biggest strength is the two-headed workhorse back of Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. I don't know if I necessarily trust this line. So total of 39, and I'm getting 6.5. I'm on the Patriots here. Maybe I'm being a little old. Just with these low totals, I'm always going to lean towards the high points. But I think the Patriots are better than we expected preseason. Now, I don't think that they're necessarily a playoff team, but I do think they're going to be competitive, and maybe the new voice in the building with some of that same wisdom. I mean, Jerron Mayo played under Belichick for pretty much his whole career. So he's implementing all the tactics, but give it to him with a younger, fresher voice. I think that's helped the organization a lot. Also, we've seen the rookie quarterbacks have struggles. And although, as best ballers and fantasy players, we're a little disappointed that Drake May didn't start, it appears they made the right decision. And circling back to the Falcons, right, with their criticism of Penix, I know that Russell Wilson pulled it off that 1 year, but maybe we're too quick to put some of these players in under center, and a little bit of development on the sideline could help. So Drake May's getting that luxury. Michael Penix is getting that luxury. Let's see if it works out better for them. When I was a kid, rookie quarterbacks almost never started. Then with the implementation of the salary cap, it felt like they really wanted to get people out there. But I wonder how many quarterbacks were ruining by putting them in situations that they're not ready for. And, of course, we're going to circle back to that when we get back to the Carolina Panthers. But final thoughts on this game. We're on opposite sides. Obviously, if I'm taking the points, I like the under. Do you have a thought on the total?
No, I don't have a thought on the total, but one prop that I think is easy is Hunter Henry's 33.5 receiving yards. Kittle went over that number in week 1 against the Jets. Last week, Chig only got 3 targets, but he got to 20 yards. I think you see Hunter Henry. He had 12 targets over 100 yards last week. I think they're going to be playing from behind. I think he sees a lot of targets. At 33.5 seems pretty easy.
Yeah, if you went 0 tight end in best ball and started with Hunter Henry, you're doing pretty good, as I noticed most of the weekly winners rosters and a lot of the teams at the top do have Henry in there. We know it's a long season, and injuries have actually racked the standings. I mean, we spend so much time studying all summer, and it just feels more luck-based than ever with all these injuries. But Hunter Henry's been a key to fantasy football teams so far, and I do like that prop. So thank God that we finally agree on something, Tyler. I don't know if we're going to disagree here. This is a tough game for me, and I'm talking about the Los Angeles Chargers, who are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tyler, this is like my 2 favorite coaches right now. Tomlin versus Harbaugh. Like, don't make me choose. Don't make me choose. It'd be like asking a parent, who's your favorite child? Even though they might have it in their head, they don't want to say it out loud, and that's how I feel about this one. Lowest total on the board, I believe, at 35.5. And why not? Both these teams have been winning with defense, and both these teams run the ground style offense here. So I think the Steelers have the better defense. Assuming Herbert plays, the Chargers have that huge edge at quarterback. I know you're a little worried about the weapons, but outside of George Pickens, the Steelers aren't necessarily boasting a huge complement of players to get the ball, fields to get the ball to. If anyone's going to be able to withstand that stout Steelers onslaught, I don't think Herbert's going to be as confused as Cousins and Nix were going against TJ Watt. But you had a lean towards this game, and boy, it's going to be pretty easy to talk me into taking Tomlin.
Yeah, I mean, I think we take them here. I mean, I think they're going to look halfway decent. Their defense is going to be able to stop the run, I believe so. The Raiders in week 1 had some success on the ground versus the Chargers, and I think the Steelers with Najee and Warren could have success on the ground. Herbert's banged up also. I mean, Lad McConkey's going to shred the defense. Like, they don't have any other weapons, really. I think that they win another ugly one. Probably 17-10, something like that spread. So it's going to be an ugly one, but I think they come out victorious again. It's also a 1 o'clock game for a West Coast team coming to the East Coast. So a lot of those guys, tough to get used to that.
All right. It's interesting here, though. I think this line's going to move to 2. I have a -1, -119 offshore. But if we're giving 2.5 for home field advantage, that's saying that the Chargers are 1 point better than the Steelers. That's about right, just because of the quarterback play. But I'd really like to see Fields continue to develop, and what a great situation for him where there's not a lot of pressure, because let's be honest, he hasn't been great. They haven't put up a lot of points, but the defense is so strong. He's able to kind of learn from his mistakes in a positive environment, which is something he hasn't experienced. Jabroni Clyde in the chat. Clyde with some great advice. He says, like the show, even if you don't like spread. So more Tyler fans in here. Boy, I wish I was young. All the kids seem to like you, Tyler. I'm definitely the heel of this show, but I'm glad to see you, Clyde. And thanks.
You didn't even do anything this time.
Me? I think I'm just old, and my sense of humor
there's like
sucks.
a reason.
Yeah, I'm just old, and my sense of humor is like way outdated. I have like that 80s sitcom humor. Are we ready to move on? We're not playing that total, are we?
No.
I almost would play over just off the strength of a defensive touchdown. Will get you there. 35?
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with it. It's one of those ones where you bet the over and it goes.
You think it's really going to be 18-10 or something?
Yeah, or you bet it and you're sitting there watching the field goal goes, all the field goals going, and you're like, what am I doing? Why am I betting the over in this game when you knew they were just
Boswell's the new number 1 kicker with Tucker falling off.
If you can find like the first game to be finished in the 1 p.m. slate, this game's going to be over by 3 o'clock.
That'd be a fun game to bet, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to run the ball on both sides. The clock's never going to stop. This game's going to be the first one down
home
the
opener
slate.
Did they play the first 2 games on the road? How is that? I mean, you got to take it 2-0. That's going to be pretty raucous out there in Pittsburgh, right?
Oh, 2-0. It's going to be packed stadium. They're going to be loud.
Yeah. How much do you think that affects the game?
Well, I think it affects it a little bit.
A little bit. They don't audible that much anyways, though. So.
No. Yeah, so that's why I don't think it'll affect it as much.
All right, let's see if George Pickens has a big day there going against my newfound friend, Quentin Johnston. Another game with 1 point spread. The Indianapolis Colts are -1 against the Chicago Bears. What do we do here, bro?
We just
let me pull up my projections for this one. I entered them and I didn't even really look at them. I had this projected as a 1 point Bears win. So the projections like the Bears. What do you think? I mean, I think we got the better quarterback.
If I was betting anything, I'd bet the Bears, but I think I stay away from this game. Better defense, better quarterback. Anthony Richardson's shown he can turn the ball over. They can't stop the run, so Swift should be able to run the ball also. Mm-hmm. They lost Buckner last game. I don't think he's going to play in this one. So I don't think they get a lot of pressure on Caleb like he's been seeing the first few weeks. So lean Bears, but I don't think I can get there and pull the trigger.
What'd you think of Caleb on Sunday Night Football last night or 2 nights ago?
I mean, outside of the interceptions, he was able to evade a lot of sacks, but that offensive line just did him no favors versus Will Anderson and Hunter.
Yeah, let's see. If Buckner's out, maybe I'll talk you into taking the Bears there, but Colts are so much better at home. They're so much better at home. So
they are.
Yeah. Man, we got a lot of close spreads here in this early morning window as the Minnesota Vikings are now +1, although it's +109, so we can just list it as 1.5. Total of 46 here. I have the Texans winning by 2.5 points here. Tyler, I know you don't like the Vikings. Just kind of like the Texans here too.
Yeah, I like the Texans here. I mean, just looking at it, they're listing Jefferson is day to day. Their rookie Dallas Turner is also day to day with an injury from last game. Addison missed last game. He's still questionable. They could be down all their weapons in this game, and Houston's going to bring all their weapons in. So I like Houston to win and cover. But if Minnesota's guys are in, that 45.5 is way too low. This is going to be shootout city. They're getting into the 50s, in my opinion, if Jefferson's on the field.
When do you think we'll know, and how much do you think that changes the line?
I think you'll know Friday, and I think it would go up 1.5, maybe 2.
So it would go to a pick'em, or just change the total?
No, I'm talking. Oh, I thought you were talking. About
I'm talking both.
No, it's not going to change this. I think the spread maybe goes to 1.5 or 2, and the total goes up.
Well, the market thinks Jefferson's playing because this opened at 2.5 for the Texans. Vikings have been taking money.
Yeah, I still see 2.5.
Really? Let me check Bookmaker.
Yeah, I still see Texans minus 2.5.
I got -1 on Bet Online, but it's juice. It's -119, so we can call it 1.5. Oh, it's just gonna be 1.5 over here. These lines are pretty close. I don't even know why I'm checking, but yeah, 2.5 over here.
Yeah.
Well, if you like the Texans, head on over to Bet Online. I almost want to jump in on that right now.
I don't hate that idea.
-1. I guess it's -129 though. What happens if can I sell a point? Those jerks won't let me sell. They don't want me to buy. Who would play Texans +1 at -169? You're gonna play 40 cents to move through 0. That's an absolute ripoff. All right. Next game up, Tyler. The New York Giants take on the Cleveland Browns. Total is 38.5. Is this going to be the two worst quarterback? Is this going to be the worst quarterback play we see all season?
What was this matchup?
Does Green Bay ever play Denver? Because that could be the worst if Malik Willis is still in. I'm talking about the New York Giants +6.5 in Cleveland.
Yeah, this is going to be an ugly one. But I think the Browns defense at home is just going to smother Daniel Jones. We didn't get their defensive touchdown on him last week, but I'm going to bet it again this week. I think they smother him. They sack him multiple times, probably cause an interception or 2. And the Giants just have nobody outside of Neighbors, so they could just bracket him. So I think the Browns in the end just pull out this one. Probably cover the 6.5 also.
We talked about it yesterday, but the Giants look pretty hopeless this season.
Yeah.
What's up to my guy, Card Addict? Nice to see you in the chat today. Welcome in. I don't have a lot to say about this game. My projections. Where is it? I got this as a 8.5 point win. So it likes laying it.
Yeah, Browns. I think the Browns cover at home.
Where do you think this line moves? With underdogs being popular this week, do you think a lot of people will take the points and we can get more deals like we did last week?
Not with the Giants. I don't think so. Maybe other games, but not with the Giants.
Yeah, all right. The next game, man, we were going to be arguing about it, but after last night's debacle, the line completely flipped. The Saints were catching +2 before they kicked off last night. Now they're laying 2.5. I mean, I know that was disappointed by Philadelphia, but all the value on the Saints is gone. This sucked because I was going to be pounding the table to take the New Orleans Saints. Now I think the value is gone. -140 on the money line. I like that so much more at plus money. total here is 49.5. Saints, the highest scoring team in the NFL after 2 games. Tyler, do you think the scoring spree continues, and how are you approaching this one?
I think it has a chance that it could, but at some point, this team's got to come back down to earth. I think it's just going to take.
Or maybe they're just really good.
I think the more I think about it, it's just going to take maybe 2 to 3 more weeks for them to come back down to earth because they're running that new offense. No one has any film on it. No one knows what to do.
It's the offense that like half the league runs now.
Yeah,
like
but
how
it
many
wasn't
Shanahan, McVay, Kevin O'Connell? I mean, they all run this.
But now think about it's all a new coordinator. We have all this film on the Saints from last year. We watch it, and it means nothing in the end because all the plays are different.
Right.
And you only have 2 weeks of film on that, so maybe they find a slight bit of an edge here. But I don't think you could bet this game. Like I wouldn't bet the Eagles without A.J. Brown. I would not bet the Saints and lay points with them.
I'm one of the Saints, but it's just sticker shock to see them go, to see it flip 5 points off that performance last night. That was
well, not even just that. You're betting a team that blew out Carolina, that blew out Dallas. They were almost, I think they were a dog in. I know they were a dog in the Dallas matchup. I think they were a pick'em favorite over Carolina.
No, they were laying,
and now they're laying. Well, okay. Well, now they're laying 3 to the Eagles at home. So it's like, I can't bring myself to bet either side of that game.
I like the Saints to win, but not at this price. Maybe the Eagles will take some money. Seems like too much of an overreaction. Total's 49.5. What are your thoughts?
Lean over, but probably stay away from it.
All right. Bo Nix and the Fighting Denver Broncos head to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. My projection is like the Bucs, Tyler, and I feel like you do too. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, I mean, we just fade Bo Nix because he sucks. He can't throw the ball downfield. If it's not under 5 yards, he can't do anything with it. Regardless of the Bucs defense not being all that good, they were able to slow down Detroit and get some turnovers there. I think they do the same thing this week. They'll be able to run it or throw it with all the weapons. So I think they named their score. Perfect teaser leg at 6.5.
I mean, I want to defend Bo Nix on here, but the fact that they can't run the ball is making it really hard for him. He doesn't. Look at the teams he's had to start against. Seattle.
Look at the way he throws the ball downfield.
He's going to end up being good, dude. It's going to be like a Baker situation or a Darnold situation. It's going to take a little while.
Who would you rather have, Bo Nix or Will Levis?
Bo Nix.
You can either have the check down merchant or a guy who's going to just huck the ball and pray to God the receivers come down with it. Give me the guy.
I think if you put Bo Nix on Tennessee, they might be 2-0. He's not gonna give away the game like Levis does.
He definitely doesn't give away game 1, but game 2 is more, I think, the Jets winning it.
Levis had a pretty bad pick in that one too.
He did, but it wasn't at the end of the game to seal it.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, we disagree about Bo Nix, but I think we agree on the side. I mean, Todd Bowles destroys rookie quarterback, so I actually have the Broncos losing by 8.5. It's only 7, and I think Denver's going to take money with how good the Dogs did. Let's wait and see if we can get a 6.5, and then we can add it on. But I'm not giving up on Bo Nix yet. This is just a tough start, but this is fine. Just run his value down, and I'm going to be able to take him.
over 23.5. Seems kind of low.
Concern there is that Denver only puts up 6 points again, and the Bucs have no incentive.
Yeah,
they're just Rachaad White and Bucky Irving the whole second half because the Broncos can't move the ball because they can't run the ball. So now you're one-dimensional with the quarterback who I'll admit you're right. I mean, the guy can't push the ball down the field that well at this point in his career.
But you could
can't run the ball. You're not going to be able to do anything. Pardon?
I said, but he can't, with him not being able to throw the ball down the field, you could stack the box and cut off the run and the short passes.
And that's what I think Tampa's going to do. And I mean, it's just like without the threat of the downfield, those screens and those short plays don't work very well. And without the threat of the run, they're just able to load up on the pass. I mean, it's just a disaster there in Tampa.
Well, they might be able to run the ball slightly well.
I mean, in Denver.
Miss.
Pardon?
They might be able to run the ball halfway decent if both these D tackles miss. Vita Vea's
that's
the
true.
grade
Tampa
2 MCL sprain.
Beat up.
Cansey's listed questionable. It doesn't say if he did anything at practice. Winfield's a key part to their defense as a safety. He's also listed questionable, so might just want to pay attention to that defensive. It says he has a chance to play in week 3, but that's one of those ones I don't think he plays.
Clyde with the obvious comment, Penix is better than Nix. Yes, Clyde, we know. I mean, come on, Clyde.
If they're all out, I probably just stay away from the Buccaneers. I'm not betting Denver.
We're not betting Denver, no. It's Buccaneers or pass.
No.
So,
yep.
All right. The Tennessee Titans are -3 in Green Bay taking on the Packers. Why is Will Levis laying 3 points? I mean, I guess Packers on the road, but wow.
Just call the number if you bet this game.
We could find an edge.
I don't want to bet on either quarterback.
Total's 36.5. Tyler, do you think this one goes under?
Lean over, but I don't have like a real reason for that. It's just like looking at the line, thinking the game through. I could see defensive scores in that game. So
the Packers got the win by running the ball last week. Do you think they'll be able to run against the Titans defense, who I think is much better than the Indianapolis defense?
I think they'll be able to run. There's no way they run as good as they did last week, but I think they'll be able to run effectively. I just can't. I can't bet.
If they do, then that +3 should be good. Levis can't beat anybody. He's going to give the game away again. That's the thing too.
Like I couldn't bring myself to bet a -2.5 with Levis, and if he throws the game in the fourth quarter, I'll be pissed. I can't bring myself.
Yeah, we're not betting. We're not laying points with Levis. That's for sure. Unless it's against Carolina.
And watch Malik Willis not be able to move the ball at all, and go, I knew this guy was the worst quarterback in the league. Why did I bet on him? So I'm just not betting this game.
I mean, really, how much worse is he than Young, Levis, Nix? I mean, is he Richardson? Is he really that much worse?
Yes.
How? None of those guys do anything. Willis can run.
That's literally it.
How is he different than Anthony Richardson other than he can't throw 70 yards?
Have you ever seen a quarterback get yanked off the field in a preseason game mid-drive?
I don't watch preseason.
He legit was pulled off the field because he was messing up. He was messing up the plays so bad in preseason that he was messing up other players on the field that they had to get him off the field. That's how bad he was. There's no way he just showed up in Green Bay and now he's going to be a half-decent quarterback.
What team was he on when that happened?
Tennessee. So they know him inside and out. They know he sucks.
All right, good point. All right, let's not play that game. All right, the game that we need to play. I heard somebody say,
just before we get into the next game, I did hear a funny thing. Somebody said when the Tennessee coach walks up to the podium at some point this week and they ask him how he's going to game plan for Malik Willis, it'd be really funny if he just goes, well, we know he sucks. He's been here the last 3 years.
There's so many fake quotes going around on Twitter. That seems to be like the new way to get engagement.
No, they said there was no quote for that.
No, but I saw one like a fake quote with Spoelstra yesterday, a fake quote with LeBron today. I mean, it's just like it's the new engagement farming.
I don't want to cut. Yeah, and before we jump into, I don't know how your games are ordered. Tua just hit the IR, so that 4.5. Bet it now.
Are you sure?
Skylar Thompson in Seattle against a solid defense.
I think this 4.5 is with Skylar Thompson in. Is Seattle capable of like blowing someone out?
I think so. I just don't think Miami's gonna be able to move the ball that much. They have good corners.
I mean, you just give it to Tyreek Hill, it doesn't matter.
They got to get past these good corners. That
they can still run the ball. And anyone can get Tyreek Hill can get past any corner. It's like it doesn't matter how good your technique is. You just can't keep up with him.
I'm interested to see how far this line moves. Because the total's already down to 41.5.
I got 41. All right, let me refresh right now. Let me see if it moved because I think this line 4.5 was assuming Skylar would be out. All right, I just hit refresh. It's still 4.5. It didn't move at all. I don't like that number. I don't want to play that game. I mean, it's Seattle or pass, but
Maybe
I don't know.
maybe I'll wait and see. We'll wait, but I think Seattle covers that number in the end.
Seattle's probably going to take money too, so we might regret waiting. Tyler, you know who I do want to play though, right?
I think that's another trap game.
No, but no, it's
Even
not
though-
a trap
even
game.
though that-
It's everyone's getting so smart
Even
and
though-
thinking, oh, Bryce Young's not there. Like the rest of the team doesn't absolutely suck. Like this was
Yeah, I
all
agree.
Bryce
The
Young's
team
fault.
sucks. Team sucks.
Who do they even have that
guys
could
should be
start
able to
on
get
our
pressure.
defense? They suck.
Derek Brown, but he's not playing.
Okay, that's JC Horn. I'll take
Yeah,
him.
JC Horn, he could probably
He
start.
definitely would. He's better than any corner we have. But I mean, we're so much better on the line of scrimmage on the defensive side. So Andy Dalton's going to have the same problems Bryce Young did.
You're probably
Is
right.
Bryce Young really that bad? Andy Dalton's a 2-point upgrade. Is that true?
I don't think so, but only being pressured on 5 of 35 dropbacks and only throwing for 84 yards. Something's wrong. Now, is it the combination that everyone's just not good? Is he mentally broken? Is he getting the yips already? I don't know.
Wow. I mean, maybe
I think he needs to change the scene.
Maybe he is that bad, but
I think there is a chance
I
that
told
he
you
is just that
yesterday,
bad.
even before this change, Carolina's going to be the team that all the sharps pound every week, just like they did the Browns when they were on 15 and they're catching a bunch of points, and every week they're going to be upset.
Yeah. This should also be a
This isn't
spot
even
that
a pro Raiders play. This is anti-Panthers. The organization didn't get better
in this game too.
Yeah. The coaching didn't get better. The organization didn't get better. They're still an absolute mess.
I'll buy in.
I mean, the only thing is we might wait. I think the Panthers are going to be popular. I think all the shows that we listen to this week are going to say, I want the Panthers. Just like they all took the Panthers last week, just like they all took the Panthers in week 1, and they are 0-2 so far with those tickets. They're going to be 0-3. This team is not good. It's going to be the Raiders home opener.
I also
coming off. Go ahead.
Normally you see when these quarterbacks flip, like the teams get a little bump, but like normally it's a bad attitude quarterback that's like already shut down on himself, doesn't care, and they're like, all right, we get a boost here. But like, there's just no way I see Bryce Young being a bad guy in the locker room. That they're like, we got Andy.
They might just be looking at him in the huddle like, bro, you're way too small.
I could see that.
It could not. It could be just like a not personality deal. They could just be like, dude, like my little brother could beat you up, and he's 16 years old, right? Like, because I bet you all those offensive linemen.
They're like looking at some of those linemen are looking at their child.
Yeah, and they're like, bro, like my 14-year-old son's bigger than you.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that'd be an older lineman, but you understand my point, right? I mean, it just might be that they, I mean, even look at Andy Dalton standing next to him, right? Andy Dalton's, who is an average size quarterback.
I would love to see him standing next to Drew. We got to see Bryce Young next to Drew Brees. That's the one.
Oh, Drew Brees is way bigger.
He's drastically smaller.
Drew Brees is like 5'10", 5'11".
If he is drastically smaller than Drew Brees, then yeah, it's just not going to work.
Oh, he's drastically
because that's
smaller.
Who I thought
he's 3 inches shorter and he's skinnier.
That's who I thought he could have been. I don't think he's that much shorter than him.
You know, I mean, if they didn't overdraft him and he went to like Pittsburgh, where like he,
Drew Brees is listed at 6 foot. Bryce Young's listed at 5'10".
Yeah, and those are both lies. Drew Brees is probably 5'10", 5'11", and Bryce Young is 5'8". Bryce Young is so small. All the people who go out on the field are like, he's not 5'10".
Yeah, we'll be on the Raiders.
When he got measured at the combine, he didn't come in at 5'10". That's bull. Okay. All right, cool. I'm glad we agreed.
I'm going to look up combine.
All right, look that up. Hey,
can you measure 5'10",
real
1/8
quick? I'll be right back. Talk to the people real quick. I'll be right back. Talk about the Lions and the Cardinals.
Cool. It's a good game to talk about. I mean, I think the Lions bounced back after that loss that I think it looked more like they gave the game to Tampa Bay than Tampa Bay won it. because they had turnovers in the red zone. They should have came up with a lot more points than they didn't. And you look at Arizona, they're riding a nice high. They beat the hell out of the Rams last week. The Rams lost a lot of pieces in that game, however, but they were up, 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. So the game was already over. But now a key part of their offense ain't going to be able to be used as much in here, and that's the run game, because I don't think you can run against Detroit's defense. No one's really been able to do it all year. They had to beat them in the passing game last week with Godwin and these guys. And Kyler could use McBride and Marvin Harrison and get the ball moving downfield, but I think the Lions bounce back. It's in a dome also, so it's a good spot for Goff. I think that they can win this game by a touchdown. They're -3. It's on the road, but I think it's a good spot for them. There's no props listed yet, but I would probably be on some rushing props for Gibbs and Montgomery. One of those two guys is hitting 100 yards and getting a touchdown in this game, in my opinion.
What else? All right. So I didn't hear anything you said, but I see that Meg in the chat, I'm assuming that's Meg, says I like a Lions bounce back too. You're on the Lions bounce back?
Yeah, I think they bounce back in a nice way right here.
Bro, what are the chances that Arizona wins the NFC West?
It's like, what are their odds right now to do that? Because I think whatever the odds are.
Can you look it up? You have better stuff than me.
They're +600 to win that division. Like, that's wrong.
Bro, I don't hate that. It's just not even up you just up if the Niners and Rams aren't healthy.
I don't hate just betting Seattle and Arizona at 3-1 and 6-1 and just let the injuries.
I like the 6-1 so much better, and just hope that Arizona ends up being better than Seattle. Like as much. So I have so much more.
But if you have both tickets in your pocket for a unit, you could walk away with 2 units or 5 units.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the 49ers here coming up as they're continually racked with injuries. All right. So you like the Lions here. How were they on the road last
Lions
year?
To win their divisions at +155. I'd have to look. I said you could still do Chiefs parlayed with the Lions to win their division and get +150.
All right, let's look that up.
Lions road.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to make Arizona. This offense is really good. And Jonathan Gannon's got them playing pretty good defense.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball against Detroit. Detroit's run defense is very stout.
Is it going to matter, though? Because that Kyler, McBride, Harrison.
I think they can move the ball through the air, too. But if Hutchinson looks like he did last week, they could have a huge problem.
I don't know, though, because Kyler's tough to sack. Yeah, I mean, he's arguably the quickest player in the league. I'm talking about the side-to-sides, right?
Oh, no, for sure. Once he starts running around just like the little kid with the TV remote that you can't catch him. But
I love that.
I mean, I just think that defense is going to be able to stifle James Conner. It's going to force too much onto Kyler. Their pass defense it's not the best, but it's halfway decent. So I think they'll be able to stop them. Like Baker only threw for 185 yards on that defense. He went 12 for 19. You want to know what they held the running backs to in that game rushing? Irving was 7 rushes for.
I guess James Conner's the same thing.
He had 10 rushes for 18 yards, and Bucky had 7 for 22. Their leading rusher was Baker, 5 for 34.
Yeah.
They didn't let the Rams run the ball good in week 1. That was all Stafford through the air. So, and Arizona can't stop a team when they run the ball. You seen what James Cook did in week 1 to them. The Rams couldn't run the ball because they were down 21-0 too early. I don't see Arizona running out to that lead and being able to just run
also, the difference between the Rams offensive line and the Lions offensive line is like,
yeah. So you're going to watch Gibbs and Montgomery
and just whatever the crappiest car is out right now. I don't even know. Old
Gibbs and Montgomery are going to be running through wide open holes. And if Arizona falls behind in this game, they are going to be.
What do you mean? They're built to come from behind, though.
Not if Detroit's just running for 5 yards every play and it's 8-minute drives that end in touchdowns. You better score fast.
Arizona can score fast, though. That's the issue.
We've seen that against one of the worst defenses in the league.
I don't know. Is Buffalo
Arizona
that bad? They put up, what, 34 against Buffalo?
But they never pulled away far enough to where Buffalo had to go away from the run game, and that's why Buffalo was able to come back and win. They put the Rams down 21-0, and the Rams couldn't run the ball anymore.
The difference between Josh Allen and Jared Goff is still pretty high, though, because Jared Goff's mobility is going to make scheming against him so much easier than it is to scheme against Josh Allen.
But he's behind such a much better offensive line.
That's true. That's true. I just don't want to lay 3 on the road.
I think they win the game. I think they kind of do it in a dominant fashion.
All right. We will.
It's the best team in the NFC.
This. Are they? They just lost to Tampa.
They are the best. They gave that game away to Tampa. They're the best team in the NFC. Who else is it? Is it the Saints?
Yes. I'm just kidding.
No.
But tell me they're not similar, though. Tell me those teams aren't similar, though. You have limited quarterbacks who get put in positions to win because they have good O-line play and they have excellent receivers and they're well schemed and they can run the ball. The Saints and Lions are close.
You know my take on it. You know my take on the Saints. Like you're gonna say.
I know that's why I'm coming back to this because I feel like arguing today because I feel like crap because I've had a cold since I got back from Reno and I'm still pissed because it's like 8 days later and I still like have this head cold. So yes, I want to argue. Like, let's go Saints.
I could see in 10 weeks us being like, hey, remember that one time the Saints won the first 3 games of the year?
No, I mean you talked about that with Sam Darnold and I thought that was a great.
It's the now look. Yeah, it's like the 2 guys where it's like, oh, we know these guys suck, and they started the year hot, and now they've reverted to sucking.
I still think they're way better than you give them credit for. Number one, the strength of that defense travels. I mean, it's a top 5 defense in the NFL. So at that point, Carr only has to be serviceable, and I think you're downgrading.
Saints.
Like, for example, how much better is Garrett Wilson than Chris Olave? Not much. So
no.
And at this point, how much better is Aaron Rodgers than Derek Carr? Not much. And everyone wants the Jets to go to the Super Bowl.
They're more similar to the Jets than they are the Lions.
That's fair. I was just kind of comparing like the immobile, limited quarterbacks that are able to find success due to a strong offensive scheme and excellent line and weapons around them, right? That was just a comparison. But, hey, yeah, I mean, I think the Jets is fine too. But I think the Saints have a better defense than the Jets currently because the Jets are so banged up.
To a point. But, I mean, Lattimore's banged up. They got linebackers banged up. Jackson's hurt. Ford's hurt. They have pieces.
Everybody's banged up. It's almost like not playing football all for 9 months and then going full speed into an NFL game without any practice isn't good for your body. I swear, if these NFL coaches ran boxing, they wouldn't have their guys spar and they'd all get knocked out in the first round because they wouldn't know how to take a punch.
We win a lot of first round knockout props then.
Yeah, I know. All right, where were we at? We're at Lions Cardinals and we don't agree. 52.5, Tyler, doesn't that seem high for the new NFL?
It does seem high. I'd probably bet the under there. I mean, I think it's just Detroit gets the lead and they just run the ball. And from behind there, I don't think they get to 52. Like,
I think it's too high.
Couldn't you see Montgomery and Gibbs combining for like 25 carries and like 200 yards in this game?
Yeah, but I can also see Kyler throwing for like 375 or combined for 375 with a lot of rushing.
It's going to have to include some rushing because, I mean, I know Harrison looked great in the first quarter last game, but he didn't catch another ball the entire rest of the game.
He didn't need to.
Yeah, that is a good point. But what's going to happen when James Conner has 12 rushes for 6 yards on Sunday? And they're going, well, we have to throw the ball now.
Kyler's going to have 12 scrambles for 98 yards and 14 receptions for 300 yards.
You know what?
They're going to be wild.
Now this is like, because you said that, and this is ringing bells in my head from last year. When the Lions played Baltimore and you came on here and said something, I forget exactly what the words were, but something about Detroit's defense, the scheme they run, it just lets Lamar run all over them. He ran for like 100 yards that game. We are betting Kyler Murray's rush prop in this game because he's going to have the same.
Okay, we can agree on that because I agree because they're not going to be able to run the ball traditionally.
Yes, I can agree there. Just because that instantly brought that back into my head. They're going to run his own defense. He's going to be able to run against them. So I like that.
All right. And I think we might get there on the, I don't know. Do we really want to get there on the under? I'm so worried we get backdoored. Maybe a first half under.
Maybe wait and see how the game's playing out. Like quick touchdown gives you a 59 and you click under.
That could happen too on either side of the ball.
Yeah, I could see Ben Johnson having a first drive schemed up to where they just go right down and score. Getting a 59 right there.
Fair enough. All right. You want to move on to arguably the best matchup of the day?
Yeah. One of these teams.
How is it the best matchup and both teams are 0-2?
One of these teams is hitting the panic button on Monday morning.
The Baltimore Ravens are -1 in Dallas, total 48.5. Talk to me, Tyler. What do we do?
Well, before we break down the game, I think there's something we can agree on with this. Because I think if we bet this, there's a good chance that we get out of it with a win. Whoever loses the game that goes to 0-3, bet them to make the playoffs. Because I think both these teams still make the playoffs. And you're going to get a nice price on them at 0-3.
Fair enough. I agree there. Wow, we finally agree. End the show.
So we're not going to agree on the side, though, because you want Baltimore and
I want Baltimore. Dallas. Why do you want Dallas? Talk to me.
Give me the home team. I mean, I just think it's after that shellacking they took from the Saints. I think they bounced back in a nice way. They're never able to run the ball, but Zeke can chunk off a little bit of yards. CeeDee Lamb's going to have his way with this secondary, even though it's a good secondary, still CeeDee Lamb. They have other weapons. I don't think they'll be able to generate much pass rush onto Dak, and they're going to get as much pressure as they want on Lamar. That offensive line does not look good. You've seen what the Raiders did to him last week. Parsons and these guys are going to be.
I'd say the Raiders' defensive line is better than the Cowboys' defensive line at this point. It's like Parsons and 9 average players on that defense.
Well, that's fine, but if Parsons is a wrecking crew, similar to how Crosby was, they'll be fine.
Fair enough. I'd just rather take the better coach, better quarterback. And let's be honest, they've looked better in their first 2 games. I mean, after week 1, did we think Baltimore was that bad? They were a toenail away from beating the Super Bowl champions. And yes, they had that let down this week, but I think that was a tough matchup for them with the Raiders' strength being defensive line and their weakness being offensive line. I think that who's our guy over there now in Baltimore? Who's their OC?
Greg. It's not Roman.
No, Roman's in with his brother. Anyways, you just got to know if you stop Parsons, you're going to be okay.
Todd Monken.
So, who actually did pretty well with Lamar since he's taken over, right?
Yeah.
We saw a little Rashad Bateman action last week. Zay Flowers coming into his own. Mark Andrews is proving that drafting tight ends in the first 10 rounds was absolutely stupid in best ball this year so far. Isaiah Likely, another late round darling. Feeling good about that. Main concern, I think you hit it on the head, would be the Ravens offensive line, but 0-2. I like the Ravens here, so we're opposite once again.
Yeah, Nate Wiggins is also on the injury report. Their rookie corner. That could be big. Okay. And looking at Dallas's report,
rookie corners are.
They're saying Ferguson was very close to playing against the Saints, so expect him back versus Baltimore.
Who cares? It's Jake Ferguson.
It'll matter.
I got 2 better tight ends on my side.
I don't know about that. Mark Andrews is washed.
He can block better than Ferguson.
I mean, he can't catch touchdowns like Ferguson.
We'll find out. All right, once again, we disagree. All right, great show, guys. All right, well, at least you're getting arguments on both sides of the show, right? Next game, will we finally agree? I don't know, because I don't have an opinion on this one. San Francisco 49ers are laying 7.5 in Los Angeles. That doesn't make sense until you see the injury report. I mean, it's everywhere. no wide receivers, no offensive line, missing key pieces on all three levels of the defense. How do you bet this game, Tyler? Debo's out.
Their injury report
George
is something
Kittle
else.
could be out.
John Johnson's doubtful. Cooper Kupp's doubtful. Puka's on the IR. Multiple linemen already on the IR. Their guard Jonah Jackson is expected to miss significant time with a shoulder injury. Their place kicker is also out. He tweaked his groin. So the Rams are they are done. Like, if there was one team we knew that was just top heavy and couldn't have this happen to them with injuries, it was the Rams. When they were fully healthy, they were a Super Bowl team. They won the Super Bowl. I know they're when they still had Aaron Donald and these guys, but they were the healthiest team in the league that year. And injuries are going to plague them this year, and they're going to pick top 5. So even with the injuries on the other side, like Debo's out, Christian McCaffrey's out, I still think that Ayuk, Jordan Mason, and these other guys, I think Kittle will play. I think that they'll be enough to win the game.
But are they going to cover 7.5 is a question.
I think they could rely on their defense and get there, yes.
Bro, even Bosa had problems last week.
Yeah, but he's not even listed on the injury report.
He's a Bosa, though. They're not the most durable people.
They're not, but he's the more durable one.
Good point. All right. Well, if you want to bet that, I actually can't argue. As much as we've been arguing the show, you can't get me to argue to bet the Rams.
No.
I mean, at what price would we take the Rams? Like, if it was 10, we would take the Rams, right?
Yeah, but like it's Tyler Johnson.
So we're expecting the Niners win by 8, 9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, DeMarcus Robinson shares go burr. All right. Also, that guy we were drafting in the last round, Davis Allen, maybe he'll get some love for us. One thing I would say, though, wouldn't you still agree that the Rams have a better quarterback?
He's also on the injury report.
Davis Allen is?
Yeah, he's questionable.
This team is out. Just shut it down. Bro, I've always argued, and they'll never do it. These NFL teams should have like 80-man rosters. Why do they cut all those people in the offseason?
It doesn't make any sense. But
they make like $6 billion each team. Like, you can't pay an extra $100,000 for another 30 guys. That's what? You gotta be kidding me. Even if it's $30 million, like, you gotta be kidding me. They pay $30 million to fire a coach all the freaking time. Give me 30 extra bodies so these teams would have some continuity. All right, well, no one's going to listen to me about that. Reminder, guys, this show is brought to you by Fanspeak.com. You are watching the Fanspeak Network on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Fanspeak channel. This is Fanspeak.com. Next up, Tyler, is Sunday night. Kansas City Chiefs head to Atlanta. Kirk Cousins just punched me in the gut, proved me so wrong. I slandered him all show yesterday, and he showed me that I was wrong and that old guys can still get it done. Hopefully old guys will get it done for this pick. I'm taking the under. I don't have any thoughts on the side. I don't like laying points for the Chiefs.
I understand not liking to lay points with them, but this is pretty much just going to be the Mahomes show. Like, they're in a dome. They don't have a running back. Steele can run the ball a little bit, but he's not going to break any big runs and run away with it like Pacheco would. I think Mahomes just lights up this defense through the air. Rashee Rice has a big game. I think they win. I understand not wanting to lay 3.5, though, but I'll probably be on their money line in a parlay with another team.
You just
I don't mind the under. I don't mind
They're
the
minus
under.
180 right now.
Yeah, I don't mind the under. Like what does Kansas City and Cincinnati pay? Minus 108. So I don't hate that at all.
Okay, that's fair enough. What do we make of the Falcons?
Yeah, or if you trust the Bills a little bit more, you can get plus 115. I mean, I think they're a halfway decent team, but like, we knew Philly's defensive woes were in the secondary. We thought they were going to be able to get pressure. They couldn't. Even if Kansas City can't get pressure, we know they have a decent secondary that should be able to cover these wide receivers. So I trust the Chiefs to be able to hold their own on defense, be able to generate some pressure, and McDuffie and these guys slow down London, and they can keep the game close. I think Bijan can have a day against that defense, though.
Yeah. I mean, do you think we think Cousins is back now? Or do you think
If they're
that's
going to
kind
let
of a
him do
fluke?
the play actions and come out under center, then I think they could have more success on offense. If they're in shotgun all game, I don't think they stand a chance.
Yeah. At least they'll be back at home. That should be big for the Falcons, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mahomes in a dome is not one you want to play against, though.
Here, I actually wrote this up earlier. I haven't paused it yet, but here's some of the reasons I like the under. Kansas City hasn't been good in the red zone lately. In 2023, Kansas City road games averaged a total of 39 points. This total is 46.5. The Falcons are 6-3 to the under in their last 9, and those games have averaged 42 points. Totals 46.5. Mahomes also has gone under in 5 of his last 7 games against the NFC. So that's the reasons I like the under there. What do you think? Plus it's Sunday
like
night. We love primetime unders.
Yeah, it's a primetime under. I think they rely more on their defense. With the Chiefs not being able to run the ball, this could be a lower scoring game too. So, I mean, I don't hate the under.
All right. Is there any, well, you already parlayed Cincinnati, but is there anything that we need to play on Monday Night Football right now before the lines move?
I don't think so. I don't think Jacksonville takes much money. I don't think Buffalo gets hammered with money. Cincinnati's lined right where I think it should be.
Okay. We'll do those games more in depth next Monday when we come back to talk about what we're doing. Tyler, we didn't agree on a lot, so we're going to do what we did last week. Let's go ahead and sleep on it, and we'll have this conversation again privately tomorrow. We'll update the sheet probably around this time tomorrow. The Fanspeak account will tweet it out when we are done. But before we wrap up here, Tyler, what's your favorite bet for week 3 that we got to place right now, immediately, right now?
Immediately, right now, you're not going to like it, but it's the Jets-Browns money lines parlayed. It's an easy winner.
I don't hate that. Why would I not like that one?
Because you're on the Patriots.
But I'm taking 6.5.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, I guess so. But that I think that's
way different. I didn't say take the plus 230. I just think you're catching 6.5 in a game with the total of 39. It's almost like just don't even put the team names next to it, right? I mean, it's just look at the. And I don't have that top of my head.
Hit the IR.
But if we did SDQO search where plus 6.5, how many times it covers on an under 40? I bet you it's going to be at least 55%. So, plus, I just like the way this Patriots team is playing. And I think that we're too anchored to our priors that this was the worst team in the league, when obviously Carolina is the worst team in the league. And you can argue Tennessee's worse than New England. Who else could we say? The Giants are worse than New England. The Commanders could be worse than New England. I'd say this current iteration of the Packers is about the same as New England, maybe worse. I mean, I like Brissett more than Willis, right? What do you think of the Dolphins with Skyler compared to this New England team? They play on a neutral right now. Skyler Thompson starting quarterback against the Patriots. I mean, it's what, even?
Yeah.
At worst, it's a pick. Would you still favor Miami with Skyler Thompson?
Yes. They'll be able to run the ball. They have all the weapons. I'd probably.
But New England's defense is like 5 times better. Okay, 5 times is an exaggeration, but you understand my point, right? I think that Miami defense is not good. They put too much money on the offensive side of the ball, and they lost too many key pieces. I mean, this version of the Rams, this version of the Rams against New England, where neutral field, what's the line? Rams -1.
I mean,
just off the strength of Stafford. Yeah, I mean, Commanders, Patriots, neutral. Where would you have it? Kind of like New England.
Yeah.
Right? This isn't the worst team in the league anymore. I'm just messing around saying, doing our previews, the regular season win total for the New England Patriots was the lowest in the NFL. Now we can argue that they're 23 to 25 in the NFL because of the way things have changed. The fact that they have a serviceable quarterback moves them like 5 spots ahead, right? I mean, Brissett's better than Will Levis, right? Brissett's better than Andy Dalton. Brissett's better than Malik Willis. Brissett's better than Skylar Thompson.
I don't think it
He
moves
might
him
even be
ahead of a
better than
team that.
Gardner Minshew.
I don't think it moves that single thing with Jacoby Brissett being better than these guys moves them ahead of some of these teams.
Fair
Because
enough,
every team you just named has miles and miles ahead of better weapons than New England.
Yeah, but they don't have better defenses. Like the Patriots defense is way better than the Commanders. The only team that I would mention there was
like
Packers and Titans have better defenses than Patriots, but that's it.
So like what's this miraculous love for this Patriots defense? Like they gave up 23 points to let Geno throw for 330 yards last week. And in week 1, what did he do? You stopped
But
Cincinnati,
they didn't let him run at all.
Roster was out.
But they completely stopped the run.
Kenneth Walker was out, and Charbonnet's not that good.
He's not that bad.
He's not Kenneth Walker.
He's better than like 10 starting backs in the league.
But that doesn't automatically mean he's going to be able to step in and run like Kenneth Walker and be able to run the ball.
That's fair enough. He's not. It's just Kenneth Walker's a top 5 back.
We don't even know. We don't even know exactly how good he is because he's never taken enough snaps to actually be able to be told he's this good.
Fair enough. I still think he's pretty good. Like I'd rather have him than Zamir White. I'll tell you that much.
No,
I'd rather. He might be better than James Conner. He might be better than Rashad White.
Hell
he might be better
no.
than Joe Mixon. You don't think so? He's faster.
No fucking shot is Zach Charbonnet better than any of those guys you just named.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see because you like the Seattle Seahawks, so he's going to put up big numbers if you're right, and then maybe I'll be able to victory lap that. Charbonnet go for 100 against that Miami defense. He might.
Well, I think there's a possibility he could do that, but
especially if they go ahead 14-0 and Skylar Thompson can't get anything done.
I think Zach Charbonnet is a worse version of Jaylen Warren.
No. You got to be at least equal.
No. Jaylen Warren's a better football player than Zach Charbonnet.
All right. Guys, in the comments, we've had plenty of debates. Let us know where you stand on these.
Just looking at this, if you look at his last year's game log, his rookie year, we're not going to count
Charbonnet's better than Zach Moss?
No.
He is.
We're not going to count the games where he took anything under 9 carries because those could just be all the carries that Kenneth Walker didn't want to take and they needed to get a break. So there is 3 games that I'm almost positive Kenneth Walker was out because he played 88% of snaps, 85, and 61. Okay, he had 15 attempts for 47 yards, and that is it. He had 14 attempts for 47 yards, and then he had 19 for 60.
But the line wasn't as good as it is this year. They made their offensive line better.
It's not that good. They have one of the worst rated offensive lines.
Just a reflection of the line. Like, look how much better Saquon Barkley looks in Philadelphia with real blockers.
I mean, I think your Zach Charbonnet take might be worse than your Aiden O'Connell take at 25 last year. You said he was better than James Conner.
Fair enough. Maybe I am hyping up a little bit. You know,
I'm sending this into our group chat right now.
All right, yeah. See if we get some responses. What exactly are you gonna write?
I'm just gonna say spread just said Charbonnet is better than it. James Conner, Joe Mixon, and who else did you say?
Rashad White. You got to give me he's better than Miles Sanders, please.
Miles Sanders sucks ass.
Trying to think of other starters that he's better than. Is he better than Trey Sermon?
Yes.
His Sermon was taking carries from Jonathan Taylor at the end of that Colts game. That was weird. Is he better than Tyler Algier?
No.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I like Algier a lot. This is kind of fun. Is he better than Devin Singletary?
No.
Better than Ramondre Stevenson?
Hell no.
All right. That'll be there. That'll be fun. Okay. It's a pretty fun show today. Maybe when I'm feeling sick, it's more fun because I'm just in a mood to argue.
You find a take and you plant your flag in it. It's just not. You're on an island where like even the people on the island over are like, what's that guy doing over there? And you're not coming off that island.
Okay. Well,
even Meg says, I've never understood the Charbonnet love.
Wow. Drink some Chardonnay.
We're gonna do running back rankings. I'm gonna see how high you have this guy up the list. This is gonna be another 21.
I probably have him like 25. He's definitely better than anyone we have. Do you like Ty Chandler better than him?
Yes.
Yeah, Ty Chandler looks pretty good. He's better than Cason Steele.
Slightly.
No, he's way better.
You know what's it? This is what I think would be like, all right, the equivalent, kind of close. He's like Cam Akers.
No, he's way better than Cam Akers.
Yes. No,
Cam Akers sucks.
So does Charbonnet.
Oh my gosh, I think this cold medicine's making me loopy.
I think it is too.
I never play props, Tyler. Is there a Charbonnet to rush up for over 100 yards this week? Can I get some plus 300? No, what is it?
There's not one up listed yet.
I'm going to check the props voter right now. Can I get some Charbonnet action here? I don't think I can.
I'm looking at his senior year at UCLA to see what he actually did.
He was good at UCLA. All right, Miami Dolphins.
He had some decent games at UCLA.
I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have player props up yet. All right, Tyler. That might be my first player prop that I give out. Charbonnet over 100 yards. It's going to be awesome. Although he can get a ton of work out of the backfield, Tyler.
It's going to get like 14 carries for 50 yards.
Yeah, and he's going to get like 7 receptions for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, because he's going to steal targets from Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and JSN.
Can we talk about how Tyler Lockett, his statistics weren't that good, but every single play he made was like crucial. Like he was totally like
just shows it.
Yeah. All right, let's call it there. I don't have any more wild takes for you guys. I'll be back next week with more fantastic stuff. So we'll see if this ends up being a great victory lap for me or if it ends up like my Kirk Cousins test. Meg said that she's going to drug test me.
Yep, see?
And you know what's crazy is I've completely cut back on everything. I quit smoking. I mean, I'm like
that didn't sound good at all.
You know, and I, before I like blamed some of my problems that I smoked too much, and now I just realized that I'm legitimately crazy. So
the way you worded that didn't sound good at all. You said I cut back on everything.
Yeah, everything. Like I used to drink like a pot of coffee. I drink like 1 cup now, and I'm like, yeah. So, all right, buddy. Great show today. Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, just check the sheet tomorrow or the next day, and we'll have the plays all up. And get ready to watch Charbonnet rush for like 3 yards a carry on 14 attempts for like 50 yards.
Charbonnet is like the Clyde of our chat. All right. On that note, thank you everybody for watching. Of course, Fanspeak. This is the network. Make sure you subscribe. We will have more great content this week. Justin and Andrew will be going over the Battle Royal. Meg and Steve will be doing the sibling showdown. And Tyler, Steve, and Meg will be getting you taken care of with the props. And Tyler, I'm looking forward to hearing you give out that Charbonnet prop on the show this Thursday.
I'm betting.